Perkins was just in here, and it seemed like he did it all tonight. That's probably one of the better games I've seen him play. Would you kind of, how do you feel like he energized your team today?
I don't want to diminish him at all. I mean, that's kind of what he does. He impacts the game with his effort, with his aggressiveness, with his skills. He's shooting the ball outside. He's driving the ball. He always had a pull-up game. Can get to the rim. We put the ball in his hands a little bit more, so now he's got a little more space. So he's even more effective. But he had 5 assists, 1 turn. I think that's the thing that's impressing me the most, because if we're going to put him at the point, he's got to give it up, and he does. But he did that from the first day he got here. We said, yeah, he's a scorer. He's a scoring guard, but you can put the ball in his hands, and he'll just get better at that too.
Coach, after Truman State, consistency on defense was a big talking point amongst you and the players. It seemed like tonight a lot of Bethune-Cookman's points came off of tough shot conversions. How do you feel about the intensity start to finish?
I thought, just watching this team, Davis and French are really good players, really good. And we locked into them and did a great job on them. I put all the pressure on the other 2 guards. They took 33 shots. And when you're guarding a guy who's taking 18 shots, that's a tough cover, especially when they're running ball screens for him. I thought we did a good job with our ball screen defense. We got our defense back in transition, didn't give anything easy there. And that's typically a function of shot selection, and we don't turn it over. So if we do that, then we should be able to get our defense back. So the other thing, I thought we rebounded fairly well. Now rebounded by 11. So, they run good stuff. Reggie's been around. They run a lot of NBA sets. He's whistling and calling different things, and they're executing their stuff. So you got to guard for a lot of times longer than 8 or 9 seconds. You got to guard for 28 seconds and finish the possession off and get a rebound. And we did a good job of that.
I asked Philip if he thought this was his most authoritative game since he'd been here, and he kind of shrugged off the question. But how do you look at it?
Well, I look at it this way, he's been like that from day one, starting in the summer, every day. He's aggressive offensively, he's aggressive in ball screen defense, he's aggressive in post defense, he's aggressive on the glass, he's running the floor, he's taking the ball and dribbling it, driving it, finishing plays, posting hard. I mean, quite frankly, all the stuff he did, when he was at North Dakota, he was dominant. And for us, he was really good. His role was different, with Keegan here. But now, he's taking charge, and that's what I want him to do. And it was always in there, but now you're seeing it.
Coach, I'm interested. This isn't really about the game tonight, but how big of a role can Kinnick Stadium and football games and the atmosphere play in recruiting players to come here, unofficial visits and things like that?
Yeah, the atmosphere speaks to our fan base. You look at that facility and facility next door, and then they look at our facilities. They look at a program. I'm talking about an athletic program, not just one or the other, that is truly committed to being good, and our fan base wants us and expects us to be good and supports us in that endeavor. So, yeah, it's a big part of it, no question.
Coach, Tony's kind of known as your guys' emotional leader. Peyton showed a little bit of emotion today too. What's it like having 2 guys who were coming off the bench last year step into those leadership roles and kind of put on 15?
Well, I think we expected that from them. They both played a lot last year. Tony obviously started the second half of the year. Peyton played a lot. Jordan's gone. Connor fills that role as well. He's very vocal and physical, and especially when he's with those young guys, he keeps them locked in to what they're doing, and he was terrific as well.
Peyton said he was most pleased with his defense. What are your comments on his defense?
I thought his defense was great. We started him on French, and we did some switching, obviously, you guys saw that. So he wasn't on him the whole time, and the idea that, okay, we're going to put this guy on that guy, and this guy is not going to let that guy score. That's not how it works. There's too much screening action, and so there's going to be switching and other people are going to be on the guy. So everybody's got to know what this guy does. But you know, his intensity level and his length at the start, you know, was a major factor. And you know, their best player, a guy got 30 last year at Seton Hall, going 1 for 5.
What did you like from Aaron's performance first game?
I thought Aaron was terrific. You know, at both ends. You know, driving the ball, defensively. You know, he sticks his nose in there on the glass. Always has. Not a mistake guy. Played like a veteran. That's what we need him to do.
Josh had gave you guys a little lift off the bench, or energy off the bench, crowd energy. I mean, 3 steals, first career assists. I mean, what's realistic to expect from him this year? I mean,
Well, I think what you saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and he gave us 11 really good minutes. You know, I think he's capable probably of 15, 16, maybe, you know, 6 or 7 minutes a half, 7.5, that type of thing. Because the thing about it is, like, he does tire, but as he's tiring, he gives you, like, he runs and he posts and he comes up on ball screens, and his activity level is the reason he's tired. So I'm okay with that, you know, so we just have to be careful we don't leave him in too long, you know, when he starts to get tired and it becomes an issue.
And then Chris Murray, I mean, kind of seemed like, I don't know. What did you think of his performance tonight?
Well, I thought he was really good. Obviously, I'm happy for him the way he's playing. He had a couple uncharacteristic turnovers for him, but the key for him is, you know, in the past, he would have let that linger, and he just played right through it. And I think that's a big step for him. You know, yeah, you're an aggressive guy. We want you to be aggressive. You are going to turn it over once in a while. Okay, 4 is too many. You know, 2 is probably about where you're going to be, because you're going to turn it over some, because you're driving the ball, you're driving and kicking, you're driving and finishing, you're taking it in transition. But I want him to do all of that when he does. He's at his best, and then we're better.
Obviously, the competition improves as the months go by, but when you look at the box score, and you don't even need to look at the box, I'm sure, but you see 5 starters and doubles, several guys off the bench contributing, a lot of versatility in those stat lines. Is this the ideal for the season?
Yeah, you know, I think when I looked at this team at the end of last year and knowing what we had coming in, I felt like this is what we could become. You know, you're going to have situations where we're going to have 4 guards out there. So, you know, Josh Dix, Patrick, Peyton, those guys are going to have to rebound and be physical. You know, there's times we're going to need Phillip out there a lot. And that's where we're going to need Josh at times. But I do think we have enough depth, enough shooting, enough handlers, enough shot makers. But most importantly, you know, 25 assists. You know, it's a group that understands how to win.
Coach, tomorrow is election day. Can you just talk quickly about the importance of voting and what you tell your team?
Yeah, I mean, I voted already. You know, we gave them off so that if they didn't vote early, they can. We talk about the importance of it. I've done that for the last couple of years. It's obviously been a unique time in our country's history with regard to political parties and the future, so you want them to be a part of it. So, you know, we just tell them to get out and vote. We don't tell them who to vote for. Tell them, you know, just get out and make sure your voice is heard.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.